Have you ever wondered what makes hope good or bad? We sometimes talk about naive optimism, but I'd suggest that it isn't naivete, a lack of experience or information, that's the problem. It's something else. Consider a scene from Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. The two sisters, Elinor and Marianne, are visiting London, and Marianne hopes that her love interest will come to town. Their host, Mrs. Jennings, suggests that he is away hunting, but the cold weather will eventually drive all the hunters into town. Immediately, Marianne actually starts thinking that the weather is growing colder. Marianne saw every night in the brightness of the fire and every morning in the appearance of the atmosphere the certain symptoms of approaching frost. It doesn't seem to be a matter of information, since Elinor has the same information but no expectations, nor does it seem to be lack of experience, since Marianne's mother tends to share all Marianne's misguided hopes despite her age. But if the problem isn't naivete, what's gone wrong? I argue it's a matter of judgment. The philosopher David Hume points out that just as in our perceptual judgments we correct for the peculiarities of visual perspective in order to get accurate judgments of size and distance, so too we correct our moral judgments for different biases of perspective, trying to get an accurate judgment of character and intention. Just as a nearby tree seems larger than one of the same height in the distance, so we tend to be more strongly influenced by people who are like us, or near us, or have a direct effect on us, exaggerating their actual merits. Marianne, as we learn throughout the story, is terrible at correcting her judgments in the way Hume recommends. She misjudges Mrs. Jennings and other acquaintances because of the bad effects that their behavior happens to have on her, rather than using her judgment to correct for their kindly intentions. Worse still, she trusts her feelings to be a true guide and does not think there is any point in correcting them. By contrast, Elinor has carefully trained herself to check the biases that affect her judgment. She is consistently seeking a true judgment of the character and intentions of the people around her. But what does this have to do with hope? I argue that the problematic nature of Marianne's optimism lies in the combination of her perspectival biases of judgment and her failure to correct for those biases. One of the biases affecting our judgment is the fact that we are disposed to believe that which we want to be true. That means that our hopes can affect our judgment, just as Marianne's desire for cold weather leads her to see signs of oncoming frost. But this doesn't show that all hope distorts judgment. Consider Elinor. She hopes that something will happen to break off her true love's prior engagement. But note that her hope for her true love's freedom doesn't lead her to expect it. Rather, on reflection, she expresses only a reasonable hope based on probabilities and the character of those involved. She thinks there are good odds that his avaricious fiancée might abandon him for someone richer. Elinor corrects her hopes to be in accordance with reason.